Hello everybody, welcome back to another rockabilly guitar lesson, or at least close to rockabilly, because today I take you all the way back to the year 1947, when Hank Williams recorded Movin' On Over for MGM Records. The song features amazing slap bass in the solo, but also a blistering guitar work by Zeke Turner. We played a Hank Williams tribute show a couple of weeks ago, featuring John Lewis on vocals, and I had to learn the solo. And I have to admit, it took me quite some time to get it up to speed. So don't be frustrated if you don't learn it in an hour or two. As usual, I have the tabs and the jam tracks on my Patreon channel. The link is in the description below. And now, without further talking, let's get right to it. Move It On Over is in the key of E, and the solo starts like this. So you play 12 to 14 on the B string. Then 12 on the E string, and then you slide from 14 to 16 with your ring finger on the E string, back to 12 E string, 14 B string, and again 12 and 14 E and B string. This is the whole first phrase. And you start on 3 and 1 and 2 and 3. And you could stay here for the next part, but I prefer going to the 7th and 9th fret because this is where the fast action happens later on. So the Silence Before the Storm, a pretty straightforward phrase that goes like this. Just the 9th and the 7th fret E string. And then the fast run. So going down, starting on the G string, you use 7, 8 and 9th fret for the G, B and E string. And I use my index, middle and ring finger. And then back to the 7th fret of the E string. One more time. Then on the B string, going up again, you play the 9th and 7th fret, leave out the 8. G string 9, 8, 7. D string 9, 8, 7, 6. And I use ring finger, middle finger, index, then I slide to the 6th fret. And then the last note is the pinky here on the 9th fret, G string. One more time, the whole run. And make sure you have a continuous flow with the right hand, playing alternating picking, alternated picking pattern. So when you do 2 strokes down, or 2 upstrokes in a row, you're just wasting too much effort, too much time, too much motion. You will never get to the speed that it takes. I think it's 165 beats per minute, and you play 8th note triplets, so it's pretty fast. And then the next part in the solo goes like this. Starting with a slide on the D string from 10 to 11. Just a quick one here. Then you play 9 on the G string. And again 11 to 9. Yeah, D to G string. But the second time you don't do the slide. Then on the G string, 12, 11, 9. And then the second part of this phrase starts on the 11th fret again, to 9, But this time you go the other way, playing 11 and then 12. Back to 9, to 11, 9 and 11 on the D string. The whole part slowly. Or we could also take the next note here on the 9th fret, D string. And one more time. I know this phrase is tricky. Did it with 2 guitar students and they both had trouble playing this phrase here. And the next part starts on the A string, 11th fret, to 9 D string, 11 on the D string, 9 on the G string, and 9 on the B string. So you gotta make sure your index is flat here on the B and G string. And then the pinky is on the 12th fret, B string. So it sounds like this. Let's do the whole phrase starting here. So then you got to move to this position where your index is on the 11th fret, middle finger on 12, and you play this phrase. Starting on 12, 11, back to 12, 14, 11 and 12 again. All on the high E string. Then you play 14 on the B string and 11 on the E string. So it sounds like this. Then you play 12, 13, 14 on the B string. Then 12 on the G string. Then back to 14 on the B string and again the G string, 12th fret. So this whole part again slowly. Maybe one more time. Then hammer on pull off on the G string, 11 to 12, back to 11. Index and middle finger. Then you slide to the 9th fret and you pick 9 as well. And then you play 11 and 9 on the D string. And then it's the 9th fret on the G string. And again, make sure your index is flat on the top 4 strings. So I do the whole part starting here. Then, while index is still on the top 4 strings, you bring your ring finger to the 11th fret, G string, and you have it in a position where you dampen the B string here. You hear the G string, you don't hear the B string, and you hear the E string again, which is covered by the index. So it sounds like this. Let me play this whole part here. The finishing phrase, yeah. So you play 11 and 9, 11 on the G string, 9 on the E string, like this. Then your pinky goes to 12, and again you play the G and the E string twice, yeah. And one more time on the 12th fret, then back to 9, 11 on the D string, 9 on the G string. Let me do this whole part here. Maybe starting here. One more time. Then the G string twice. 11th fret, D string. And then 10 to 11 on the A string and 9 on the G string. To finish off the solo. Let's do the whole solo slowly to the metronome. I have it on 90 beats per minute. 1, 2, 3.